Jack Thunder and the Fragments of Anima. Book 5. Fire. Interlude 2. Altairia and the Fire Sword. Altairia slammed the door shut behind her. She could only hope those monsters couldn't get in. She knew she was taking a risk by going into the village. Nekomata weren't exactly friendly with Kitsune after all. But the threat she faced now was not from the nekomata at all. Instead, she had been chased back to the temple by shadowy black figures whose forms flowed like water. Altairia had never seen a wendigo before, but she could recognize them from the tales. What was even worse was that the entire village had turned to a sterile, colorless shelf of itself in their presence. It was only a matter of time before they got in the temple. Altairia could only thank Anima that the rest of the priests weren't here. Those demons were bad enough with nekomata magic at their disposal. She didn't want to think about what would happen if they could control fire. Altairia's eyes landed on Yuki. The sword was still suspended in a column of flame. The kitsune got a wild idea, one that would potentially leave her cursed. At the very least, the entire priesthood would scold her if they knew of this idea. Still, it was the only one she had. She stepped up to the column. Without hesitation, she snatched Yuki from its holder. The sword glowed a wild orange in her hands, the tip of it blazing with a potent flame. Her hands trembled as she positioned it in front of her. It was a bit heavier than she thought. She didn't feel any sort of curse descend on her, though. Guess it really was something that the high priest made up, Altairia thought. There was no time to lose. Gripping Yuki tight, Altairia burst out the front door. Immediately, the shadow demons set upon her. Wooden boxes, trailers, nekomata technology of all sorts were wrapped in a fiendish red glow as they sprang to life and rushed towards her. With one swipe of the sword, Altairia cleaved a questing carriage in half, sending the burning pieces crashing to the ground. Not satisfied, the wendigoes sent bigger and bigger machines after Altairia. Unfortunately for the demons, all of those machines were made out of wood. Every time they sent one to attack, Altairia would incinerate it with Yuki's flames. Finally, the wendigos grew impatient and charged. Altairia could feel Yuki growing warmer as its glow became hotter. Now it was almost blue. Swinging it in front of her, she released a torrent of blue flame straight from the tip of the katana. Altairia could only hear shrieks before the flame cut out. When it did, she saw the wendigos fleeing towards the horizon. Sheathing Yuki to her back, the kitsune made her way through town. There was quite a bit of collateral damage. About half of the wagons and machines the nekomata had were sitting in cinders behind her, victims to the invasion. Thankfully, though, that was the most of it. Nekomata of all colors poked their heads out from their homes or from the wreckage, looking to see if the invasion was over. Altairia went around town, using the magic within the sword to restore the villagers' anima. She even came across a couple of nekomata that had been poisoned with null magic. She burned away the foul substance using Yuki's fire. While the high priest didn't exactly approve of her using the fire sword in the temple to vanquish the threat, he came around to realize it was necessary. Not long after the invasion, Altairia was approached by a certain Pure Eternus. The youth demigod enchanted Altairia with a story of how they surrendered their youthful magic to create the fragment of light, Excalibur. They explained how they were on a mission to defeat the heart of darkness and restore the world to its former glory. Of course, Altairia jumped at the opportunity. Not long after, she met the others: San, Mallow, Adamant, and Strombolio. Fairies of all elements and all stripes on the same quest. The 6 of them would stick together no matter what.